Wait,
I always thought it was spelled with a D, like Conde, and then Luted, but it's actually vo, and then looted.
wait, what? You didn't know that convoluted was convul something something? I messed it up now.
Listen, bro, I'm not the best at English, and eh, yeah, I'm not the best at English, but listen, I never had to type convoluted out on a paper before
I
until now,
guess.
and let me just say, I am shocked,
Wait, so
completely
you thought it was
shocked.
convoluted?
Well, yeah, because every time someone said it fast, I was like, oh, they're saying it with a D, like convoluted,
Yeah.
right? Or maybe, but I always heard it as convoluted whenever someone was like in a speech or something. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe that's how you pronounce it. I never looked up how to say the word because I never thought I needed to up until now because I wanted to make sure it fit in the context of my essay. So I was like, oh, maybe this will
So
work. Now I
so
realize.
you're telling me that if a teacher had asked to give you a speech and they said use the word convoluted, you would have said convoluted?
Hey, no one has ever corrected me
I
before.
mean, at least you're not. At least, I mean, I guess I don't know. I've never. I don't know what to say, man. Like I've never had that problem before in my life. I mean, I guess yeah. I did with like the number three. I used to say tree because I thought that was like how you say it. You know? Yeah.
Tree. I mean, I know some people say six as sex. I know my brother used to do that. He used to say
So you would say
six, but
like sex
sex.
plus sex equals 12.
Yes,
That's
sex plus sex.
equals
66.
12. It's like no little Johnny. That's not how you say that.
How do you say rule? Oh,
Rule?
wow.
Like
Say rule.
what? Which what? Like in what context?
Like rule as in like environment. Like there's urban, suburban, and
I
rural.
mean,
Rural.
I say rural. The
Rural.
rural. I mean, I guess if I'm saying it fast, I say rural. I don't know.
Rural. It's always been a weird word for me to say.
Yeah.
How about this? I'm gonna spell this word out.
Okay.
Um, and I want you to pronounce it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Colonel.
Colonel. Colonel.
Damn it! I thought I
Nah,
would get you.
it's not. I used to say colonel when I was still a kid,
Colonel.
and then someone I guess I saw it in a TV show or something. I was like, why do they say colonel when it's actually colonel? You know? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. How do we get Kern from Colo?
Look, man, the English language is super weird in terms of like what's it called? In terms of pronunciations. There's a lot of examples of it, but
Uh huh.
I can't think of one on top of my head right now. I know people like post that stuff on Instagram or on Facebook, like, the English language is so weird. Like you pronounce it like this, but you don't pronounce it like that in another word, kind of thing. There's a lot of examples of that actually.
Yeah, yeah. That's true. I think it's just whatever is derived off of something. Like say if it has like a Latin root or something. Like what's an idea? Like hypo, like any of
Uh huh.
those hypo. Uh, I don't know. It's weird. One more. How do you say Worcestershire or
Worsh.
Worcestershire? Worcestershire.
I say the latter, which is Worcestershire, but I don't really. I don't know. I don't really say that a lot. Like I don't. Like the only time I ever say that is like, "Hey, Dad, can we get some Worcestershire sauce?" And even then, I'm like, "Yeah, I probably pronounced that wrong. I don't really care. I'm not gonna say it on a daily basis." So
Worcestershire.
yeah. Well, would you rather keep going with this, or would you rather get on with the podcast? Welcome to episode 9 of Pause Menu Podcast. Today is sponsored by Pronunciations.
Yes, I. Oh, that was a pretty good transition. Not gonna lie, man. I was not expecting that.
I was like, how do I transition to
I was
this thing? Oh, would you rather?
too. Yeah. So the for the main topic of today's podcast is would you rather questions because we've been talking about video games for the last 2 weeks and we thought we should change it up. We don't always want to be so fixated on the video game topic.
Yeah,
You know.
we wanna have some
So
fun with what's it called with stuff. So let me just make sure like the audio is actually like turned down on this. But otherwise, yeah. I mean, I think we mentioned before that we're gonna have like um an icebreaker question, but I think it might be better to just start off with like just straight up go to would you rather. Because the icebreaker that I was thinking of is another it's just a simple would you rather. But we already started off with a would you rather, so I, I guess yeah.
hey, man, we might as well
Yeah.
just go on. All right. So would you like me to just ask you the questions and where you answer it, and then I'll answer after?
Um I think we should take turns like
Or
saying this. Like so you ask one and then I'll answer it and then you answer it again and you answer it yourself too. So I think we should both answer the question, you know.
all right.
So would you like to
Yeah, of
start then?
course. Uh, I would
Yeah,
rather
would you
start. Yes. I
no.
tried to make a joke. I'm so sorry. I tried to make a joke. Okay. We will link the website we're using for the Would You Rather's down
Yeah.
below in the description.
Rap will link it
And
because
while
he's
you're
good at
at it,
descriptions.
yes, yes. And while you're at it, if you're already looking at the description, hit that subscribe button,
Please, yeah.
please. We would love, we would greatly
Spread the word
appreciate it.
on Twitter, spread the word on Reddit. You know, tell people about us. We're gonna have a special 10th episode next week, so with our first ever official guest, or at least that's what we're planning, anyways. I don't know if this guest is gonna say yes or
Yeah,
no, but hopefully this person says yes. I should probably talk to them about it.
yeah. We got
We got
plans. We got
plans, baby.
plans, to say the least.
Gameplay in the background is
All right.
Near Automata with Best Girl A2. Yes, I just said that. Best Girl
Mhm.
A2. She has the Engine Blade from Final Fantasy 15. She's my favorite character in this game, personally. Yeah. And yeah, I guess we can start.
Okay. Um, I said this. I said told you this one before when we were just talking about the ideas, but we'll say it again
Mm-hmm.
because it's interesting. So, would you rather be a reverse centaur, meaning instead of you having a horse body, you would have a horse top, and your lower body would be human, or a reverse mermaid slash merman, so you would have a head of a fish and the body of a human.
So I would rather be a reverse centaur. One, because I think having like a fish head, um, kind of sucks. Like, imagine like a fish head like with like human legs. Like that's some weird like what's that art genre called? It's like weird stuff. I'm so sorry, art majors. I probably like offended so many people right now.
Um,
uh, what's it's like something realism? I don't know.
I
It's like
I have no clue,
what's
and
that
I draw
one
a
art
lot.
style like the guy with the screaming face? Like he's screaming by like a bridge or something? I don't know. Surrealism? Is that what
Oh,
it is? Yeah,
surrealism.
surrealistic. Yeah.
Surrealism art. Let's see.
Like it's like a weird like bending reality kind of stuff. I think so. Yeah, that's what I would say. Like a fish head with like human feet or human lower half would be very very weird, and I don't even know how to transition that because a human upper half right is I want to say I want to say horizontal in a plane, while a fish in that same plane would be vertical. So how would you transition from a vertical lower body or a horizontal lower body to a vertical upper body? I think that's just weird, and I think it's just inconvenience because fish can't really like talk. I mean, neither can like I guess centaurs too, but or minotaurs too. But uh, what's it called? At least with the minotaur, it's kind of like a half horse, half human kind of thing. Like you have a you have like a built body up top, right? With like maybe arms or whatever like that, and then you have like actual human legs in the bottom. I think that's less weird and actually more viable than a fish, basically.
Do you have the website pulled up? Because it shows a pretty, like, it shows the pictures of what we would look
I
like.
do actually. What number is that? Oh, this one right here.
Dirt,
37?
dirt. Hmm. Yeah.
Oh.
So that, so for those of you who can't see it, or for those of you looking at it later, it's literally like from your shoulders down to
We can
your
probably
human body,
we can
or
probably edit
from
this
like,
out, you know. Like have it
oh yeah,
yeah.
we could probably do that.
Uh what's it called?
But just add the picture. Yeah, we can do that. But for now, it's basically just shoulders down, human, and then head up is like half the fish body all the way to its head. So it's like a fish out of water, like halfway out of water. That's what it looks like, but
I
it's
think
on your
I'd still
body.
rather have like the centaur half, the horse half essentially. Cuz I mean, I don't know, like it's kind of weird like having a fish for a head. In my personal opinion, it's kind of weird having that. So, yeah.
See, my question is how are we going to be able to breathe with the fish? Are we going to have the same respiratory system as a human or the fish, or a mix of both? So will we be like a amphibian who can breathe in water and out of water, or will we need
I
one or
think
the
we would
other?
be able to breathe, right? Or I mean, I guess in this logic, if we're talking about like fantasy stuff, I think we would be able to breathe basically. You know, like it wouldn't be a problem for us. Because otherwise, our only real
Hmm.
option here is number two, which is half horse head and half human kind of thing. Because that's the only thing that we can breathe actually, unless unless we're like
Yeah,
half turtle or something. Then that's
yeah, I would agree. I would go for the half reverse centaur because I don't know, man. It just seems more logical. But the real question is that do we also get that horse cock as well?
look. You're under 18, so I don't know if you should be asking that question. I don't know, man. That's I don't go to that page of Pornhub, dude.
I'm just kidding.
I don't go that far down.
I am
I don't
just
go that far
kidding.
down in Pornhub.
Oh my goodness, don't even get my mind started. All right, next question. You go.
Something okay. So this is something deep kind of thing. Would you rather be able to travel back in the past, or travel back to or back to the future, travel forward into the future? If you had to choose one way that you can travel, which would be and why? This isn't part of the list, by the way. This is just something that I came up with as supposedly
Okay.
the
Um,
icebreaker question.
I've thought about this a lot, and I've had a lot of conversations with other people about this, and I've always said that I would rather go into the future because to be honest, um, I'd rather see what's ahead of me rather than what's behind because I've taken all the AP history classes. I've taken all those. I have a decent grasp of what happened in like from now and
Mm-hmm.
then, right? So I would rather much like just go in the future, see if flying cars eventually happen, see if, Earth gets decimated or I don't know, Godzilla
Okay,
appears and
so I want to add
something
a
like that.
restriction to this. You can't travel back. So if you travel to the future, you can't travel back to the present. If you
Mm.
travel back to the past, you have to live through the past to get back to the present. Basically, does that put an advantage in the travel back to the past thing or no? Because I feel like it doesn't. At least that's just from my perspective. But yeah, so concerning those restrictions, would you still say, would you want to travel to the future?
Yeah, I say I'd still go to the future. I would because if I live through those time periods, it feels like playing through a video game that you
Mm-hmm.
already know, right? That you've already played over and over again. Obviously, I haven't lived through like the 20th century, the 19th century, but it's like I've studied enough about it to the point where it's like, oh, yeah, I know what happens, depressions and stuff. So yeah, I'd rather
You'd
just live in the
rather
future. Who knows? Maybe we would be in another planet by then.
how
If question is how far? How far?
yeah. So how far would you travel into the future? How many years?
Oh man, if I'm going into the future, I'm going like way into the future, like mm, let's say 1,000 years, a
So
full
you go to
millennia.
2020. You're gonna get to another depression area, or depression timeline. The 19th.
Hey, you
I
never know, man. Like we could.
I don't know, man. The 1920s were
I
pretty
mean,
depressing, and so were like the 2020s so far. Wait, no, like the 1920s were good, right? Because that was when they were partying, Great Gatsby stuff was going on. I think, right? Yeah.
post World War One. Oh, not
What
post
if it's
World
like
War One.
math
Yeah,
where it's like it
is it?
decreases every single year? So like this year's the 20s, and the next 1,000 years is gonna be the 3010s. It's gonna be depressing, kind of stuff. You know, we're gonna
Possibly,
have a
man. I mean,
we're gonna
t
have a world war at 2030. Knock on wood.
Jesus. To be honest, history does tend to repeat itself, so we never know. So yeah, what would you do? Would you go to the past or would you go to the future?
I think I would go to the past. Considering the restrictions of like not being able to travel back, I would go to the past. Just because um, traveling to the future would be nice, but I feel like it would be lonely for me. Because like if I go, let's say like 1,000 years into the future, right? All my loved ones are dead. Like unless we found another way to like immortalize yourself, I wouldn't know anyone, right? It'd be cool, like the first week or two, just googling stuff, or I guess whatever the Google equivalent is of like the future. It would be really cool to see, um, what's it called? It would be really cool to see like what happened to me. I guess I know what happened to me because I went to the future. It'd be really it'd be
Yeah.
really cool to see what happened to like other things, like what happened with COVID, what happened with the election, all that kind of stuff. What happened to this country? What happened to this person? What happened to that person? Just and like all the series that you're catching up with, like we'll get like Devil May Cry like 20 basically by that time. So it's like yeah, we know what happens in the future. Or I would get like Kingdom Hearts 4 by 1,000 years into the future as well. Uh, but like it
I like how out of all the things you say you choose Final Fantasy out of all the cool things that could happen in
yeah, it's like, oh
3020.
yeah, I wonder if Kingdom Hearts 4 is out. Not Kingdom Hearts 20, it's Kingdom Hearts 4 because you all know how that game goes. But it's like it's cool to do that kind of stuff for like the first 2 weeks, but when you actually start living it, it's like, well, now what? Like you essentially have to live in the unknown again, like, which I think is very exciting, right? Like, and like thinking about it now, it's like, oh, maybe it'd be really cool to live in the future, but I think having that disadvantage of not being able to travel back kind of puts a stop at me because it's basically saying like, man, I just want to live in the unknown. And I think like that would be like a really cool choice, but I think for practical purposes, it would be better to travel back in the past and live through those again, because I can take the knowledge that I have now and just apply it to like what happened back then. Like I'm saying like, oh, like this happened, I know what to do this time, or the lottery tickets for the winning lottery numbers for this one would be this, so let me do that. So I would know like,
Oh, hello.
hello, can you hear me?
Oh,
Yeah,
we're
we're
good. We're
good.
good.
Were,
We're
were you
good.
able to hear me? Did you not?
It like paused real quick, but I
Okay.
think we're good. Uh,
Well, I,
yeah.
yeah. So yeah. Anyways, like yeah, I would travel back to the past, just because of that. And as far as how far I would travel, I think I would go when I first arrived here in America. So 2006, like all the way back then. And I would be like,
Mm.
okay, I'm gonna relive through like some of the greatest parts of my childhood. I'm gonna experience some of the same struggles, but I'm gonna, I know now how to get through this, what to do, what I can improve on, and basically make a better future for myself, you know, for that. So
So is this assuming? So say like this, like if you travel back in time, are you going as yourself as of like right now, or are you going back into that body you were at the time you go
ooh,
back? Because if we go back 100 years, we're not going to be alive, so we
yeah.
won't be there. The only logical reason is that if we go back or forward in time, we would be who we are right now. So obviously you won't be able to relive your childhood, but maybe you could be. you could live at that time knowing what you know now.
Ooh, that's actually really cool. Yeah.
Like, you know what
Okay,
I'm
so I
saying?
guess considering that factor, I think no, I think I'd rather live in the future at that point if I can't go back to how I was back then. Like I just want the knowledge, but I don't actually want like who I am now because that there's a huge disadvantage of that. You know, like you basically
Hmm.
you can't show up to like your place and like, hi mom and dad, I'm rap from like 10 years from now, or I'm Itoy from 10 years from now. Can I live here? Like I can't do that. Like they're gonna be like, who are you, stranger? Get out of here. So I would basically be by myself with like, I guess I can bring money with me, but like I don't know. Do I have enough money to like rent an
Hmm.
apartment in 2006? I should.
And just stating, this is assuming that we're using multiverse theory to confirm this, not like the mumbo jumbo from like Back to the Future or Hot Tub Time Machine, right? We're using that if we go back to our past, that past now becomes our present, and anything in the future of that past becomes our future. If that,
Yeah.
makes sense.
So
At least
I
it makes
guess
sense
in
to me.
that scenario, I think I would rather just go towards the future then, because I feel like going back in time without being able to change what I actually want to change would kind of defeat the purpose of doing that. It's a, I guess in some cases like I would still do it. Like if for example I would have the power as a third party to influence something that could have been prevented, or that could have been encouraged. I guess then in that scenario, yeah, I would travel back in the past. But as far as I can tell right now, there really isn't anything that's like I really want to go back in time and be a third party to something to help change that. I would rather live in the unknown in the future and just adjust to the life that we have. Now, the problem though with living to the future is that you don't know what future you have. So if we travel like even 40 years in the future, we don't know how Earth is gonna be like, or how our world is gonna be like 40 years from now. It could be like near automata where like everyone's an android, and the O2 in the air is no longer like breathable. Yeah, or
Safe.
safe. Like just step out of the time portal and be like, I'm dead.
Exactly. And that's the thing too. It's like it's hard. There's a lot of variables we have to keep in mind, but I guess to keep it simple, I'd rather go to the
Hmm.
future. Not gonna lie.
Would you change your name?
Oh yeah, there's no way I would keep like it's not unrare to have someone with the same first name, and it's not rare to have someone with the same last name. But if I'm traveling to the future, uh, I want to be as like inconspicuous as possible. Like I don't want to draw any unnecessary
Hmm.
attention to myself. So I'll just change my name. I
Now,
don't see why
so
not.
the problem with that though is that I think in the future all of us are going to be in some sort of database. We're all in a database now. So if the government figures out that you're not on the database, they're gonna be like, "Who are you? How did you elude the database?" And they're gonna start asking you questions. And you're like, "Oh yeah, I'm a time traveler," and now they know like, "Oh, we can like lock you up and exploit you and whatnot." So knowing that, would you still want to change your name, or would you just want to be like, "Yeah, I'm Rap from 2020." Yeah, I don't know.
Wow. Well, to be honest, I don't know. Cause is this time travel thing a one-time thing?
Yeah,
Because you said we
you
can't go back, right? So this is
yeah,
just
it's a
one
one-way
round.
trip. You can't go back to the present.
Well, hey, they can take me. I can't do anything, right? They can't force me to. I can't explain how I
Yeah.
got there. It's like basically all I'm gonna say is like, yeah, I like pressed a button whether I would or would not go in the future. I pressed it and I'm out here. Basically, literally.
Okay. Um,
So
what would your name be?
yeah, my name. Oh, my name. Um, I would probably go with Rayleigh
Rayleigh? Like,
or something along the lines of like
oh,
R
wait, Rayleigh, like Reilly?
or
Wait, wait.
Leigh.
So spell it.
Ray. So
Okay.
Ray and then
Oh, like Rayleigh.
Leigh.
L.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay, okay. I was like, I was like, did you just mispronounce Riley?
No,
So before this podcast started, I think, or I don't know, like around the time this podcast started, we were talking about mispronunciations, and I'm like, is this another word that he's mispronouncing? Like, it's Riley.
no,
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 but yeah, I know
no.
Rayleigh. I would go with like again the Kingdom Hearts logic of adding an X to my name and making an anagram of it. So I guess for those of you guys out there, my first name is Juan, right? So that's Juan. I would add an X and scramble it, and I would say it's New Jax as my first name. So
Oh
it's like
wow,
wow, it's kind of
that's actually
badass.
dope.
Or if I'm gonna go with Itoy, Yotix as another yeah.
Yotix. That sounds like a
Yeah, or I guess I
Pokemon.
can go with like New Jax Yotix or something like that. So if you guys see someone like that in the future, you know who it is. Definitely not me, because I do not have time travel prowess.
It'll be the descendant
Yeah,
of Itoy, one
that's
of
what
his
I'll name
kin.
my kid. All right, welcome to the world, New Jax. It's like, Dad, why couldn't you name me something normal
Yeah.
like James or something?
Are you kidding me? This is the most normal thing I could have named
Exactly.
you. Do you think you want me to name you something like Bob? Pfft, please.
Hey, you're lucky
So
I didn't
boring.
call you Naruto. Okay. God.
Oh my
Should we move
god.
on to the next question?
Yeah, let's do that. So
Yeah.
it's my turn, right? Okay. So, would you rather have all dogs try to attack you when they see you, or have all birds try to attack you when they see you?
Birds, hands down. Yeah, I've already had dogs
Yeah.
attack me. I don't need that in my life. Yeah, in
Really?
the Philippines,
What?
dude.
When?
Like dogs are some of the dogs are feral in the streets. Like
Oh yeah, yeah.
approach them
That's
in the
right.
wrong
That's
way. And
true.
even
That's true.
here in America, like I was like walking like around my neighborhood, and then these two dogs just started chasing me. I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be a sprint now. So my my cardio went from like a 2 to 100 real quick, basically. Uh,
It's so funny for me to
they weren't even
imagine that.
like
Oh
big
my
dogs;
god.
they were like puppies. So I was like, oh shit. Yeah. I mean, I'm scared of getting. I mean, I do well with dogs now, but like, I still get scared of getting bitten. So I'd rather like anticipate a feral attack from the sky, because I mean, yeah, I'd rather do that rather than get attacked by a dog. Because dogs have to outrun, right? They're not gonna attack me while I'm in the middle of a car. But birds, they can be like attacking me from above. But no, I can outrun birds, or at least swat them away with like something. Dogs, I can't swat them away, and it looks cruel if I swat. It's gonna look cruel if I swat either one. But I think I think it's less um it doesn't look as bad if I swat a bird away than if I swat a dog away. I hope. PETA, please.
Tell
Yeah,
that to PETA. Tell that to PETA.
yeah.
All right. How about this? I'm gonna ramp
Okay.
it up one. Would you rather have a group of like rabid dogs that have rabies attack you when they see you, or have a group of disease carrying birds attack you when they see you?
Uh, I'd still
Pick your
I'd still
poison,
go
man.
with the birds, man. Like I'm gonna get disease either way. I'd rather get pecked than bitten. I guess I'd rather get pecked with
How
like
do,
the swine flu or so. Not the swine flu. Whatever the bird disease is. Uh,
yeah, the
yeah.
avian
I'd
flu
rather get
is one
pecked
of them.
by a Pokemon than bitten by like I don't know a Houndoom or something. Or
How
yeah,
do? Oh my goodness.
yeah. No, I'd rather pick the birds at this point.
Hmm. So what I would pick is that with the circumstances I've just laid out, I was thinking that I would just rather get attacked by dogs. Okay, and here's why. I think I'm fast enough to outrun
Uh
a
huh.
dog, and if I'm not, I will find some place where I can like either hide or juke
Mhm.
them out, right? Because say we're in a cityscape, right? So we're in a city landscape. I'll just go in not in the alley because that's really stupid, but I would go like I don't know somewhere to like a taxi place or a crowded place. Say go to a mall, and then what? I juke all the dogs, you know. Uh, go through crowds. Maybe they'll start talking,
Mhm.
attacking other people. You know, who knows? Maybe I can outrun them. Ooh. What about this? What if we can't like run away? Like eventually they'll always just find you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, never mind. I think I'd have birds if I said that. I don't want to be. I don't do a lot of cardio as is,
Yeah.
like running.
Plus, we live in a suburb, dude. Like, we're not gonna be in a cityscape where we're getting chased by dogs. We're gonna be like out by Walmart parking lots getting chased by dogs, or like we're gonna be like out in the park walking, and then all of a sudden a bunch of like rabid dogs just start chasing you. That's not. I don't know. I feel like I'll take my chances with the birds at swine flu or with avian flu than a lost leg
Yeah,
basically, than a half-eaten leg. Because I could at least survive a bird attack. I can't survive a dog attack.
until the diseases kick in that
Yeah.
case. But yeah, let's go. Let's
All
go on
right.
to the next one.
Let's see here.
Again, if you guys haven't already, please subscribe down below. Leave a comment or a like and share it with a family member or friend. We'd greatly appreciate it. Smile.
Okay. Would you rather live without the internet or live without AC and heating?
Oh my god. Um. Hmm. Oh goodness. Okay. So I would live without AC or
Really?
heating. So listen, bro. Especially right now, like with our current circumstances, like my schooling's all
Mm-hmm.
online, and if I'm forced to go to school in case like everyone else is there, I am raising my chances high for COVID. But set aside that circumstance, I do a lot of stuff online, man. Like I'm on Discord online right now. I'm using this website that requires internet right now. Um, in order to play zombies, I'm gonna have to have an online
Mm-hmm.
something like
Yeah.
online connection. Uh, I can't talk to girls if I don't have like a phone or connected to the internet. I won't be doing like that old pigeon stuff where it's like, oh, here's my letter. Let me mail it to you. It'll be there in the next
Yeah,
30 to
yeah, but you
40
can go
days.
like a step above and just throw rocks at their windows with like a note attached to it. That's what I did when I was in grade school. No, I'm kidding. I never did that. I never had the confidence to
Oh,
do
I'm
that.
like, I'm
No,
like,
I would
really?
never have the confidence to do that. Are you kidding me? What is that? Property damage and rejection? Nah, I don't miss me with that, man.
Yeah, until like dad comes out with a shotgun, and
Oh
you're like,
shit!
oh shit.
I can explain, sir.
I feel like it's like if you try throwing a rock at a window, it's not going to have the same effect as you think it would, right? I think you would probably shatter the window. Hmm. So yeah. Um, what was the would you rather again? I just lost my train of
Would
thought.
you would you rather live without internet or would you rather live without
Oh yes,
AC or
of
heating?
course.
I said the internet.
Yeah, like
Or well, no, no. But you
mhm,
said you'd rather live without AC and heating, right? I would say for
yeah.
me, I'd rather live without internet because I can find
Ooh,
ways to entertain myself without the internet, right? And for when it comes to like job applications, I can just go up to there and be like, yeah, our internet is broken, so I'm sending you guys this application right now. Um, I would rather do that because I can just like go to a store and buy, I don't know, magazines or something because they still sell magazines like Barnes and Nobles, right? I can read, right? But AC and heating, like that's just like for a first world country, that is like essential for living in a sense. You know, like when it gets colder, obviously you need heating. When it gets super hot, I can kind of survive that with like just a regular fan. But I think I would rather have those luxuries than the internet. Personally, I would say.
hmm. So here's how I thought about it. Like I don't like usually when I play Would You Rather with my friends, it's like we have like you always try to explain our
Mm-hmm.
scenarios, right? So what I was thinking is that if I don't have AC, I can just leave the windows open because obviously if I'm gonna have my laptop running, the PS4 running, or any consoles, whatever, it's
Yeah.
gonna get hot. So I was thinking, okay, I'll just use that for heat. And if not, I still have electricity. Yeah, it's just the internet I don't have. So I can plug in like a heater one of those machines? 'Cause is that technically AC? Because I think heater is just a separate machine, right?
I mean, AC and heating are both in the question. So like without heating,
Oh,
it
is it?
yeah
Oh, so it is okay. Oh, well, no, yeah, I'd still choose internet because, like, I mean, the people back then just did it where they just had a blanket on them or had a jacket, and they're pretty warm,
yeah, but you
right?
can say the same thing about the
The
internet. People back then didn't he?
yeah, but okay, how about this? So, like, say you take this would you rather, right, without internet or AC, and then move it forward
Uh
like a
huh.
couple years, um, because we're really dependent on internet right now. So, say you move it a couple of years forward, where we're actually super like we can't live without it, because eventually it's gonna get to that. Like, do you agree?
Yeah. Mm,
So, say we move to that scenario, what
I
then?
mean, I guess yeah. At that point, it would be the internet. Because if we can't, if by that logic we can't really live without it, if it becomes like a right for us, right? Not a right, but you know what I mean, like an essential living piece,
Hmm.
then yeah, I would rather live. Um, I'd rather live without AC and heating. Because without AC and heating, there's ways you can circumvent that. Um, but internet,
Just irrigation systems you can make.
I mean, that's not really AC and heating though. That's just electricity in general. What?
Irrigation?
Irrigation? You're talking about
Irrigation?
yeah, irrigation's like for bathroom stuff, right? Hello?
Irrigation is like,
Yeah,
oh, hello? I think keeps
yeah, we're good
freezing. Are
now.
we good? Okay, so the way I know irrigation is that, like, yeah, irrigation, the way I learned it is that you would make the buildings in a certain way, or you'd arrange them in a certain way, so that the wind, natural gusts of wind, would just fly through each house. So it's just natural
That
AC, but it's not AC if it's
that's not
just
how I
wind.
learned irrigation. I learned irrigation like as bathroom stuff. Like that's how you
Well, yeah, it's still technically irrigation, but
oh
the way
it
it,
expanded to
the definition,
oh I see.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you can but I mean like if it's like a like you can't change your house kind of thing. Like you can only live with that. Yeah.
Oh, of course, but it's like, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I think we can probably do it
All
without
right.
AC.
Should move on to the next question.
Yeah. So would you rather have your skin change colors based on your emotions? So like red is angry, yellow is anxious,
Mm-hmm.
blue is sad, right? Or have tattoos appear all over your body depicting what you did yesterday,
Oh,
and and it changes every day because obviously you know.
um, so I watch porn every day. I
Oh,
cannot have that in a tattoo. Okay, especially if I'm like going to work or something. I'm like, wow, what you do yesterday? Well, please don't look at panel number 3 in my tattoo. Um, so I'm gonna go with the skin color thing. I think. I don't know, cause it's
see, it's hard because it's like very situational
yeah.
for the skin color thing.
Okay,
Because if you're talking to someone and if you're mad but you're trying to hold it in, you're gonna be like bright red,
yeah.
right?
I think I would go with the tattoo actually, because here's the thing, right? If it's easier to first of all, it's easier to hide a tattoo, like especially if it's like depicting everything you did all over your body, right? It's easier to hide a tattoo rather than it is to hide an entire skin color. Like I can't unless I like wear like a parka and like shades every single day. If I get like horny or something and I change the color to that, everyone's gonna everyone's gonna
Um,
know it's like hey man, why are you like bright orange right now,
whoa!
dude? It's like haha, get away from me. um
I Imagine that, like, have you ever gotten those like random boners
uh yeah.
like that? Like, like if that was me, if I was sitting in class and I get a random boner, that means my at least my
Teachers
subconscious
be
is
like
horny. So if I'm sitting there bright orange, I'm
whatever
like,
color,
uh
yeah,
oh,
or whatever
this
color
is
it
not
is,
good.
they're gonna be like, all right, rap, pay attention to this one, not to that girl over there. Yeah, no, I think I'd rather have the artistic cool thing of like having tattoos somewhere in my body, as long as it's not the face. Because I feel like that kind of ruins it.
See, that's the thing. Like we can't really choose the emotions we feel
Uh
most of the time. So at the same time, we can't choose where the tattoo goes in our
oh,
body. It just appears.
okay. At least you can control that though. You can control like, um, what you do. You can't
What you
control
do, right?
emotions, at least not completely, but you can control what you did, in a sense, for the most part. You know,
See, but what if eventually you have that urge? If you catch my drift, and then all of a sudden you have a tattoo of that
I
action
mean,
on your face.
I can cover my face up. I mean, it's Corona season. I can just like, put a face mask or something.
That's fair. That's fair. What if it's on your
Put
forehead?
a hat
Hmm?
or put a bandana.
Just have a turban. Put a turban or like a what's it called? What are those things called? The full
Oh yeah,
body,
yeah, yeah.
full
No,
body cut.
I'm just gonna stick with a bandana at this point. You don't need to see this panel of my chapter yesterday. Yeah, I think I would rather take the tattoos over the emotions. Um, I know there's a character in Ruby, the show Ruby, that has that trait where like her emotions depict her skin color in a sense because she's a chameleon. I think her name's like Ilya or something. Yeah,
Oh, I haven't watched Ruby in a
yeah.
while, so I don't
That's the main reason
remember.
why I first picked the color thing because I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of normal in that show. I think it'd be nice. But now I think about it, it's like, wait, if I'm horny, this is gonna be a problem. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I see. For me, um, I would choose the skin color. To
Really?
be quite
Why is
honest.
that?
Okay, so I like to think I've reached a point in my life where I don't really care what people think. And I assume that's the same way where I don't really care what people think about how I
Mm-hmm.
feel, right? Because to be honest, why should
Right.
they? Other than the fact that I'm like either super horny right now or if I'm like pissed. Okay, but besides that, I I don't know. I'm usually really transparent with how I feel, at least around my friends. And even if it's just like my classmates around school, it's like I don't know. I don't really care. It's like you said, the only embarrassing moment in which I'll have to sort of hide is either when I'm annoyed at the teacher or annoyed at a classmate for not
Yeah.
doing work, or is when I have those
Yeah.
random,
I got your drift in that one. Um.
um, especially when you have that random boner when you're trying to presentate and you're just trying to hide it by keeping your hands in your pocket.
I've never had that problem. I don't know about you.
I mean, dude, that's happened to me way too many times. It's like when I'm
Yeah.
sitting, right? So I'm sitting and I have it. I'm like, okay, I hope I don't get called. I hope I don't get called. I get called. Fuck.
I've
So
I
now,
had that happen in like the Pledge of Allegiance or whatever. I'm just sitting down. I'm like, fuck. We're standing up for the Pledge of Allegiance. Fuck my life. Or like if I'm in church and like we have to stand up, it's like, how do I reduce this, man? I'm wearing like shorts. Like fuck.
oh, I actually had a trick for that. So you know how most of those shorts have a bump, like right where your groin is, like the crotch area.
Sure. Let's go. With it. Yeah.
It's hard to say. It's like the zipper bump. Like the zipper is too long, so it has to extend either inward or outward, but it can't go inward because it'd be blocking you, right? If that makes sense. I
No,
don't think
it
it makes
does.
sense, but some people might know what I mean.
Okay.
Okay, listen, 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 bro. I know how this sounds. Okay,
Okay.
just listen. Okay, so I would use that whenever I'm wearing shorts or like cargo
Uh
pants or
huh.
shorts, right? I would use that, and I would just stand up, and no one would be none the wiser because it's a bump that's always on my shorts. I have it on every single pair of shorts that I have, cargo pants, shorts, whatever.
Yeah.
So, um, like one time, my dad pointed out, I was like, "Do you have a boner?" No, it's just the pants.
Oh
So I'm
my
like, but
god.
so now I was like, okay, this is straight camouflage. So I'll just let it do its thing, just stay there, and I'll just if I ever need to stand up, I have my excuse. I've only tried it once and it worked out fine, so but I haven't tried it again.
I don't know what to say to that. I mean, that's
Let's
strategy.
move on,
Yeah.
please.
Okay. All right. Let's move on.
Let's
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 to another question.
Let's move on, please. Let's move on.
Let's see here. Pick a number between
Oh my
100
god.
to 120. So yeah, okay.
Uh, okay.
No,
169.
100 to 120.
Oh, 100. I think 220. Okay, so 118.
118. All right, all right. Would you rather clean rest stop toilets or work in a slaughterhouse for a living?
Oh, uh, define slaughterhouse.
I think
Is
that's
it
when they
like
like kill the animals to make meat for us. I think. I think.
okay?
Let me Google it up real quick.
Because some haunted houses are like slaughterhouse, like in quotes. That's what they're
Yeah,
named.
I don't think they mean that kind of slaughterhouse because they mean like bad job kind of thing.
Okay,
Yeah,
so yeah,
yeah.
we'll
It's
go with
where
that.
animals are.
The
It's where
the
animals are
meat packing.
slaughtered.
Yeah. Okay. Or clean rest stop store. Oh. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I as much as I love hot dogs and bacon
Mm-hmm.
and steak, I would not want to be there to cut up the chicken or
Mm-hmm.
the pig,
Yeah.
you know. And I can handle bad smells. I think I have a pretty good gag reflex. So I is reluctantly I will clean the rest stop toilets other than do the slaughterhouse.
Hmm. Okay. For me, I would also just rather clean the rest stop toilets. I think for me it's because I can't handle seeing like all that killing in a sense. Like I don't even want to kill like my local house spider kind of thing unless it's like the big ones that look like a tarantula kind of thing. I'm like, all right, like you have to go. I'm sorry. Um, but
A
no, no,
tarantula?
not like
What
a
the hell?
no, no, not a
In your
tarantula, but
house?
like
I'm just
like a
kidding.
bigger spider kind of thing. But in terms of like the other animals, like having to kill a cow or having to kill a chicken, that kind of thing, like I don't think I can work in that environment. Like that would make me super uncomfortable. Now I clean my own bathroom, so I think if I can do that, I can do the rest stops. Because I mean, we're all humans. We all discard that stuff. It's pretty easy to clean bathrooms anyway. Just throw Clorox in the toilet, unplug that shit, and then scrub the floors, scrub the walls or whatever. That's all you gotta do. Like yeah, the stench is there, but like that's gonna go away eventually. Like you're cleaning something. Like you kind of just have to think of that as like as if you're cleaning something and there's an end goal. And it's not like I mean I'm guessing like since we're talking about rest stop houses, we're talking about rest stop houses here in America and not like some random bathroom in like some third like no offense but like some bathroom in third world country where it could be small and no matter how many times you clean it, it might not be like as clean as you want it to be. So I would rather clean like the bathrooms here rather than work in a slaughterhouse. That's my logic on that basically.
See, yeah, I totally agree. But the only difference for me is that I don't mind seeing the killing. Like I was what year was it? It was 2011. So I was quick maths, eight, nine,
Mm-hmm.
8 or 9. And so there was a chicken in our house in our condo in the Philippines. So I was like, oh, there's a chicken. Next thing I know, my dad calls me down, and I'm like, oh. And there I see my nanny holding down the chicken and just goes slap,
Oh no.
cut, and I'm like, oh, well, that's nice. And then and my dad's like, yeah, this is our dinner, and I'm like, huh. So yeah, I've been desensitized since then. But the only reason why I wouldn't want to work in the slaughterhouse is because when I was taking a push AP US history, there was a section where we talked about the meatpacking industry and the robber barons when the monopolies were all
Mm-hmm.
around. And let me just say that shit sounds disgusting. Like they would just mix all the meat together, like cross contaminate
Oh,
chicken, pork, steak, and some people would even lose fingers because they would be cutting and cutting, and they would
and they
cut
would
their
get
finger off,
infected.
and then they wouldn't even bother to take it out the meat, so they just leave it in the meat.
Oh,
So I'll be like, oh. And then they would also mix it with like chemicals like chloride, sulfur, and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, that's
yeah.
gross. Obviously, it's way better now, but I don't. I like the taste of what's going in my body. I don't want to see how it's made.
Dude, I low-key want to go vegetarian just from saying that. Like, if I didn't like chama gaucha or fogo de chao that much, I would go vegetarian. Like, just from hearing that stuff.
Yeah, it's disgusting, but I love my meat, man.
Yeah,
I need
I
meat.
love like all the meat places too much for me to become. I mean, I guess I could be like a limited veg. Is there a term for that? Like a limited vegetarian, where like you're vegetarian most of the time, but you could still go out to like chamagacha or something like that.
Well, you don't have to call it limited vegetarian. You can just see you don't eat meat a lot, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Like a
Um,
plant-based diet most of the time, but then once you're going out, like yeah, I'll eat a burger or I'll eat a
exactly. Yeah, that's
yeah.
exactly what I'd call it.
Uh,
Speaking of food, would you rather be able to only use a fork, no
uh,
spoon, ever, or only be able to use a
spoon,
spoon, no fork?
spoon, hands down.
Okay, what's the reason for
Uh,
that?
so most of the time, fork is just for holding down things, right? So if you wanna, let's say for example, if you wanna eat steak, use the knife to cut it, use the fork to hold it down. I mean, you can use the fork to like eat it too, but you can use your fingers for that. Um, a lot of the stuff that you can do with a fork, you can do with a finger or your teeth, basically. If I wanna eat pasta, I can still eat pasta with a spoon. It's just gonna be a little bit more difficult. If I want to eat, let's say, I don't know, a chicken breast or something, right? Like I can still use a spoon for that. I can just cut the chicken breast with a spoon. That kind of stuff. There really isn't a lot of things that I have to use a fork on. Like it's ideal to use a fork with it, but you don't have to. With a spoon, however, or with a fork, however, you can't
Oh,
eat soup with a fork. Like plain and simple. I mean, I guess you can drink it the soup, but I don't know. I'd rather eat it with. I mean, I guess it's fine either way, but
yeah, I'd agree. I chose a bland one, sort of a bland one, but I would choose
mm-hmm.
personally the fork. Um, because usually the food I'm eating, like say rice with like chicken or like a steak, it's usually like thick enough or like big enough so it fits on the fork like it
Yeah.
works like a spoon, right? So and plus I like it being able to just stab things and just put it in my mouth rather than
Mm-hmm.
scoop. And I don't. There's not really much of a difference, but I just like stabbing.
Whoa,
Um,
man.
hey, I swear I did my med bay scan. I went down to admin. I looked at the control thingy. I actually have no idea. I haven't played Among Us
That's
once. I
actually
just
like
watched it a
fairly
lot.
accurate for someone who's never played Among Us. Like, yeah, that's exactly what you did.
I do
You know,
watch
like,
a lot of
oh,
it.
dude, I
I
love
do
the
watch a
I
lot
love
of
the
it.
memes about that. Have you seen my video on that?
I
Uh,
have not yet. I've been. I gotta
yeah,
get to
it's
watching that, dude.
so. Oh my god, it's so funny. I am the worst liar when it comes to. Okay, if I have to lie, I can lie. But if I don't have to lie, it's like if it's not that important, I can't be a liar, dude. It's so it's so
Yeah,
funny.
that's the thing people get wrong most of the time as imposters that you do not have to
Yeah,
lie. Like you can just tell the truth, but keep out the part where you murdered
exactly.
someone.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So you choose a
Um.
fork then.
Yes, I choose a fork. Just being able to hold it down and eat. Because for most of the foods, if I don't have a fork, like a spoon, I just stab like the piece of pork and then I like rip it apart with my
Yeah, but
mouth.
can't you go like the Filipino route and just okay? Because we're all Filipinos, right? Can't you go the Filipino route and just like whatever you need to stab, just pick it up with your hand, and just bite it with your teeth, and then take the spoon and like eat the rice with it, or do the very Filipino way and just eat with your hands, kind of thing.
I was about to say if we were talking about Filipino
Yeah,
way, we'll
just
just
go.
go with
Yeah.
our hands.
Would you? Okay. This
Yeah.
this isn't my real would you rather question, but would you ever go like a week just eating stuff with your hands? Besides like desserts like
Uh,
ice cream for example, like a regular ass meal, just like no utensils at all.
I've actually always wanted to try it. Like what you described, like for a week, no utensils,
Yeah,
just eat it like with your hands. Because I don't know, it seems kind of I don't know, liberating. I don't know if that's the right word. It just seems like, oh man, I get to do something that I used to do as a toddler, eat with my hands. So yeah, I guess. Well, what would you do? Would you?
So I'm gonna say no. Um, I mean, I'll eat like a meal or two with my hands only, but not an entire week. Um, for a reason that I don't know if I should be saying on on recordings. But if you're Filipino, all right, there's other ways to clean up after yourself uh, after you go number two in the bathroom. Um,
Okay,
you
I
know what I
got you.
mean? The other way. It's
Yes,
like
I know
yeah.
what
So
you
like
mean.
I do that. That's what I do. So
Oh
yeah,
man, yeah. Let's not
yeah.
say anything
So
further. Let's
I
just say,
can't essentially. Well, I mean, I can, but like I'm gonna be like only using one hand basically the entire time. Yeah, if you're Filipino, you get it. If you're not Filipino,
I mean, you can always wash your hands, right? You can always wash your
yeah,
hand
but
before
still,
dinner.
it's like,
I
are
mean,
your
people
hands
usually do
actually
that.
100% clean after you're washing your hands? You know what I mean? It's like,
Oh, oh come on. The 0.01% of germs that's not killed by the
yeah, but
soap
I
is
mean, I'm
not
gonna
going
be
to kill
holding this
you.
pork. I'm like, I just touched my butt with this thing. I'm like, I don't know. Or I'm holding rice. I'm like, man, I'm like putting my mouth against the hand that you know what I mean? Like it's gross. I don't want to think about it. Ew.
It's just just think about it. It's just
No,
chocolate.
that makes it even
Okay.
worse, dude. I'm gonna be thinking about like that all the time. I'm like, oh, that chocolate smells bad. We'll explain it in our
Okay.
100th episode. Moving
Move on.
on.
Move on. This is go.
All right, is it my
I'm.
turn?
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
I'm trying to find like a deep one or like more like a long answer one. Um,
Yeah. And if you guys are also interested, put down in the comments below what you would do. The fucking grammar. Come on. What you would rather do for any of the scenarios we stated. Because I'm genuinely interested in what other people think.
oh, would you rather never have to work again or never have to sleep again, or you won't feel tired or suffer negative health effects?
Oh, this is
You
easy. I
never
would never
sleep again?
sleep again.
Really?
No. Listen. So here's my reasoning. It would be nice to never work
Mm-hmm.
again, right? Um, but to me, like this is the reason why I love zombies so much is that you work to get points, right? You work to get points, you work to get good guns, and then it's somewhat like reflected on the real world. You work to get money, you work to get money to pay for cars, to pay for food, such and such and such. Um, like that stuff. I like doing that, and if I think the statistic is like we sleep for 1/3 of our
Yeah.
life, right? If we get those eight, like
Come
say
on,
1/3 of
let's have some
24 is
fun.
8 hours, right? So if we get those 8 hours back, eight times seven is 56 hours you gain back in a week, and that's a lot of
Yeah.
time, man. Like that's a lot of time we can be saving, and if you think about it, our life would feel so much longer, right? Since we'll be living we'll be actually like conscious during the times we
Mm-hmm.
normally be sleeping. I'm assuming based on your reaction, you would choose not to work.
Yes, I would choose not to work. And the reason why is because this. Even if you don't work, there are other ways that you can find yourself to be busy on. You know, like making videos doesn't have to be work, or whatever you do at work doesn't necessarily have to be work. It's just work because you have to. It feels like you're obligated to do it because you need the money in a sense, right? So you can still do the things that you want to do. It just doesn't really have to be quote unquote work, right? But the main reason why I would rather not work is because I want to sleep. And the reason why is it's kind of like the whole notion of like if you're numb to everything, right? Like you can't feel happiness, but you also can't feel sadness, kind of thing. It's the same thing. It's like yeah, I can't feel tired, but I also can't feel refreshed. You ever have like a really good nap or really good sleep where like you wake up, it's like man, I feel very rejuvenated after a hard days of work. I feel very nice after taking that 7 hours sleep kind of thing. It's the same logic that I have with that. It's where it's like I really want to have that feeling of like working myself and then going to bed and like feeling after feeling tired. It's like, oh man, when I wake up, it's like, oh wow, this feels really nice, or I feel rejuvenated. I feel good. You know, it's that feeling in a sense. So yeah, I know I can get a lot more stuff done if I didn't have to sleep like, 7 hours or 6 hours or 4 hours or whatever. But at the same time, it's like you're losing that feeling, that good feeling of rejuvenation, in a sense.
Hmm. So here's my question. Like for our situation like this. So if we choose not being able, or we don't have, like it was, we don't have to
Hmm.
sleep again, I think. So are we not allowed to sleep? Like obviously we don't have to, but can we still sleep? Because with that in mind, we can always just take a nap if we don't,
For like the second one, where like
if
you can't sleep. What do you mean, like?
yeah, uh, like what if? Because it was the question like we don't
No,
have
it's
to sleep,
more
right?
like we can't.
Oh, we
Yeah, no
can't
more
sleep.
sleeping in a sense.
Oh, well, yeah. Oh, I guess never mind. I
Or sorry.
Yeah,
Never
I'd
have to
still
sleep
choose.
again. You won't feel tired or suffer negative health effects. So I guess it.
So never have
Yeah.
to, right? So that does that mean
I
we
don't.
can't sleep,
I don't
or we
know.
just
I think
choose not to?
that's actually a good question. I don't know. I mean, I want to say you don't. You don't have to, as in like you can still choose to. But at the same time, it's like there's you're not gonna feel tired, so you don't need to sleep. You know, you won't suffer any negative health effects. So it's like there's no logical reason to sleep.
Hmm. And I guess it goes the same way for work. We don't have to work because we're
But we
probably
can
financially
choose to
stable enough.
if we want to. Yeah,
Yeah, we can choose to
yeah.
work.
So it's not really a high stakes kind of thing, I guess. Okay.
True. I would just like more
Yeah.
time,
All
honestly.
right. We're reaching about the hour mark. Do you want to do like two more? One your question, one my question.
Yep.
Your turn.
Whose turn is it? Okay. I accidentally scrolled up. Here we go. So this is the hard one. So on the website page, I scrolled down to number
Mm-hmm.
113. So and that starts with the hard questions. Would you rather have super sensitive taste or super sensitive hearing?
Super sensitive taste or super sensitive hearing. Define super sensitive.
Like the max your senses could be. Like you taste every single ingredient in the food, even if it has like the slightest hint of like something
What was
disgusting,
say that again?
right? Or like for taste, you taste every single ingredient in the food, every condiment, every
Mm-hmm.
spice, whatever, right? Even if you can taste like disease in it, right? You can taste if it's bitter, you can taste if it's like tastes like shit,
Mm-hmm.
something like that, right? And then for hearing, you can hear everything, right? Like you can like say you're in your room right now, you can hear something from like miles away, like Superman hearing, right?
Okay. I think I would rather have the super sensitive taste because I love eating. I mean, we both love eating. I
Yes.
I I love eating, right? I mean, I love. For me, I should probably pick the super sensitive hearing one because my hearing isn't really the best. Like I can't hear. I mean, I can hear, but like I can't differentiate the tone of my voice with that of others in a sense. Um, but I mean, I think it would be just really cool to be able to just have like that improved sense of. No, I think I'd rather change my mind. I think I'm gonna have the super sensitive hearing. And the reason why I say that is because, like I said, like my hearing isn't that great in the first place, and that's a direct upgrade to what I normally have now. And even if like my hearing was good already, it would still be an upgrade because now I could hear things that, normally I wouldn't be able to hear before. I can hear things clearly. I can detect things clearly, right? With the taste one, the reason why I wanted to go with taste earlier is because it's gonna make every food taste great. It's gonna make like if I go to like an ice cream shop or a steak place or let's say a taco place, right? All the food like the first month or two, it's gonna be like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever, right? But once you get used to that, once your palate tastes like the whole Pavlov thing, once you get used to that, you don't really need to, the novelty of it kind of goes away. Whereas with hearing, it's like, yeah, you might get used to like this enhanced hearing, but like you still keep the advantages of it. Whereas the only advantage with having the super sensitive taste is that food now tastes like 100 times better or 100 times worse. This with the hearing, it's like, yeah, you're gonna be hearing the same stuff, but now you can hear it better, and then you would still have the advantage that you had in the beginning over time. You might get used to it, but you still have the advantage.
Yeah, I agree. And I did an experiment in psychology last year where we were talking about Pavlov, and every time Pavlov came up in the text, we had to take a bite of the citric powder, the sour stuff, and you just said Pavlov, and I feel it in my mouth, and I hate you. It doesn't. It's I don't know if anyone knows what I'm talking about, but it's like ugh, it's bad. But yeah, uh, so you choose the
Mm-hmm.
hearing, right? I would also choose super sensitive hearing, just because I could become Daredevil, but I can actually see. Like if for those of you who don't know, Daredevil's power is super sensitive hearing because his eyesight was taken, but the chemicals that was poured on his eyes enhanced his hearing. So I was thinking, I was like, okay, if you can hear, like, say this is like an extreme scenario, but if you hear a gunshot coming at you, you're most likely gonna know like the trajectory of which it's coming at you, so you can sort of just dodge. Um, Another thing too, like Ito was saying, like eventually you would become used to the feeling. Habituation would happen with any sensation, so it would just turn into a superpower. Like you can turn it on and off if you need to. Like with Superman, that's how he fights crime. He just goes across the world. So yeah, that's what I would choose. I would choose super sensitive hearing.
Nice. Yeah, I think the hearing just has a lot more advantages. Um, trying to pick the last because I went to like scroll down and it's the deep questions, the deep would you rather questions, right? Like really gets you thinking, and I'm like, man, these are really really good. Like there's a lot of them that are very very
Hmm.
good. It's like 140 ish,
Okay.
146 ish and above. It's like deep questions basically. I'm trying to pick one that's like really really good.
Hmm.
Okay,
Let's
this one's
see.
about love.
All right, let's hit me with it. Let's see how I'm
Would
about
you
it.
rather spend 2 years with your soulmate only to have them die and you never love again, or spend your life with someone nice you settled for?
So we're technically content with both, right? What you're saying.
I don't know about the first option. I mean, like you're content with the person, obviously, but yeah.
Okay. Okay. So here's mine. So just with some personal experiences and some stuff that I know, um, I would choose the soulmate
Mm,
option. I would rather live with a soulmate for 2 years and then have them die. The reason is because a lot of people can spend their entire lives on this earth and not find someone to love, not find their
mm,
soulmate, right? Many people um, find their soulmate, but eventually they figure out that it's not that person, right? The actual chances of you finding that perfect person, that one that matches you, is very rare. And for something like that to happen to me, I feel like, you know what? I will take as much time as I can get with that person, right? I wouldn't like. There's not the other option. It's not bad. Like you found someone nice. You're living with them the rest of your life. That's cool. That's what most people usually do. Um, and eventually that person may turn into your soulmate. I never know. But if I find that person first thing, and then if I spend 2 years of my life with them, I feel like I would be content with that. I wouldn't have to love again because I've already found that person. Maybe like, is there anything stopping me from finding someone else? Is there a restriction like that, or were you
It's
just
the follow up question to that is never
never
love
love
again.
again?
Yeah, you would never love. So I guess technically you can still settle for someone, but you would never love that person in a sense.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, I would just choose a soulmate. I'd rather spend those 2 years with that person as happy as I could be, and then um, be content with what I got. Maybe, like, say the situation is that I am unknowing that they will die in 2 years. Yeah, my answer might be different, but with just knowing this, the situational irony, I I go
You
with the
go with a
soulmate
soulmate.
option.
So you believe in a soulmate.
I do. Uh, the chances, like, there's about almost 8 billion people on this earth. The chances of finding someone else who is extremely like you are extremely high. Um, at least that's what I believe. Taking like statistical chances and just somewhat luck into it,
So
I believe there
what do you
is.
define as a soulmate? I guess.
So I don't think of it as someone who's exactly
Mm-hmm.
like you, right? I think of it as someone who fits with you, like a puzzle
Yeah.
piece. Like it's a two-pieced puzzle. You just fit together. You don't have to be the same. You can have your differences, but you know, you just work together. Your chemistry is just
You vibe
off the
well
charts.
to a certain extent. To a good to an
Yeah,
amazing extent, I guess.
to
Mm-hmm.
the best extent.
Hmm. See, mm, I'm I'm gonna pick the second option actually, cause okay for
Okay.
a couple reasons. One, um, I would not want to have that tragedy of like, like the typical like romance tragedy in the books where like this person found their soulmate, but then like they died, like just what's it called, just months or like years later, and now they have to live the rest of their life, um, essentially like without that person. That's funny because now that we're talking about this, I remember like, all right, don't judge me, but sometimes I read fan fiction, and I remember reading a fan fiction about this where it's like it's these two people that have like danced around each other's feelings for like such a long while, and they finally acknowledge each other. They finally like said like, okay, we're in love with each other, we should get together, kind of thing. And where things were finally like set up for them, um, the girl tragically passes away, um, in the end, or like near the end of the story. And the guy never loved anyone after that. Like he stayed single, which isn't the point, but it's like he kind of just like swore off love in a sense, for the rest of his life until he passed away because she was the one. Like she's the one that she wants to that you know that that he wanted to spend time with, or he wanted to spend the rest of his life with, and without her, he doesn't want anyone else. I don't think I would want that kind of life for me. I would want like I think I would rather be able to spend time with someone for the rest of my life. Like even if they're like not like the best possible option, they're someone that I can grow to love or grow to appreciate in a sense, over the years. And I think that over time, even though that person isn't really your quote unquote soulmate, you can sort of treat them, or at least like if you once you spend enough time with them, you can start seeing that person as your soulmate in a sense, because it's like, oh, I've spent like 20 or 30 years with you, and even though not everything's been like you know uh amazing, right? It's still been a journey within the past 30 years, and you've been there for me, through thick and thin, and I've been there for you for through thick and thin. So even though the universe tells us we're not soulmates, that's basically like it's the closest thing that you can have to that thing, right? So that's my reaction to that. That's my perspective on that whole deal. It's like I would rather have that story rather than the other story. It's like you're looking at two different stories in a sense, and I would rather have story number two, which is a nice person for the rest of my life, who I can eventually look into as my soulmate, and have all those years add up, rather than have that one very emotional, but also very sad story in a sense for me personally. Second reason why I chose the second option is because I don't know if I fully believe in a soulmate. Are you still there? Okay, okay, yeah, kind of
Yep.
just quiet. Um, like your mic just turned off, I think. But yeah, I don't know if I fully believe in a soulmate because the way that I define it, right, it's like a soulmate is someone that you're meant to be with. Like simple as that. Like, have you ever seen Your Name?
Of
Yeah,
course. Are you
so it's
kidding
like
me?
it's kind of like those two. It's like obviously like they're meant for each other. Like not necessarily that they vibe together, but in a sense of like the other person is the other half of their soul in a sense. Like they are connected through space and time through that thing. And it's funny because like but I think I'm the more religious one here, but like I don't believe in that. Like I don't believe in the whole like I don't know if I believe in the whole idea of like being meant to be with someone. You know, like having that person being like the one kind of thing. Like there is no the one. There's the closest thing that we have to a the one for us, in my personal opinion, is the person that you're the most compatible with in terms of like growing together. But that's not a soulmate. That's more like a like we met through these circumstances, and over time we grew to like each other, and then we grew to love each other, and we worked through our differences together, kind of thing. That would be, I guess, like the one. But even then, it's like you can kind of do that with practically. They're gonna be like there's gonna be like other people that you could have done that with. Like, I can say like for person A, I married and I got along well, but person B, I could have done the same thing. It's just a matter of like who did you want to spend the rest of your life with, kind of thing. So that's why it's not really the one. It's more so like who did I choose to work through things, and who reciprocated my love in a sense. That's why I'm like, I don't know if like the soulmate exists. Like I don't want to say no, because
Yeah.
obviously like the universe is a funny way of like playing with us, kind of thing. Which is funny that I believe that, but like I don't believe in a soulmate. But I also don't want to say yes because it's like nothing. I don't know. I guess I just choose not to put my faith in it. In that, there's such a thing as a soulmate.
Yeah. I'd agree. Like, I don't believe there's that one person out there for you. Um, I agree with the notion that if you find, in quotes, the one, it's most likely going to be someone you're just super compatible with, like the puzzle piece I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, like, the way I interpreted
Mm-hmm.
the question, is that if you find the soulmate, like if you live with your soulmate, you found that person you just, you know, that fits with you. And to me, or at least the way I like from my personal preference, is that if I find that person and it comes down to the point where, um, because the question doesn't specify how they die, right? Or is it does it say tragic death?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, they just said like after 2 years they'll die. They didn't say anything about like tragic death or
Okay,
something like that. Like they're gonna be like
okay. So,
ran over by a car or something. I mean, I don't want to know. it's
oh my
it's
god,
like
oh my
no,
god,
no, no, no. Let's not go down that sad route. God.
yeah. So let's just say that's like I don't want to assume, but let's just say assume it's not like anything super bad, like just a death.
Yeah.
All right. Say with cancer or something. If my soulmate is truly my soulmate, um, me and that person, that girl, would be content with what has happened and what is about to happen. Obviously, I'm gonna still be sad. I'm still gonna probably be in major grief and in disbelief, but I won't be disappointed for how long it lasted,
Yeah.
right? Um, the fact that I even found my soulmate is amazing in and of itself. So I personally would be more thankful that I have got to meet that person, live 2 years of my life, which could possibly be the best 2 years of my life with that person. Um, and yeah, that's that's the take. That is both of
Yeah.
our takes.
That's interesting. What if okay, so here's another reason why I didn't choose a soulmate one. Have you ever Do you know about Twilight? Like I know you probably know Twilight, right? But like, do you know what happens to Twilight?
Yes. Yeah, I do.
Do you know about like that wolf character and what happens to him, and like who his soulmate ends up being?
hmm I found that to
Yeah,
be really
that see
weird,
like
but
what if
yes.
like that's the case? It's like that's kind of creepy, man. Like I don't know if I want like I don't want that to happen to me. You know, like oh your soulmate's like not born yet. I'm like I'm gonna just move on with another person at that point. Like that's creepy. Like I don't want that to happen.
Okay, let's assume it doesn't include anything with the pedophilia tab, alright? Let's just assume that they're of age, or at
Let's
least
just like
around
yeah
our
let's just take
age.
that out of the context because that was just so weird. Like that turn, I was like, ah man, like I don't know about that. Like that's creepy. That's just
I'm like, well, okay,
yeah.
that's cool. It's a
No
thing.
no
It's
offense
a
if you
thing.
like
Okay.
Twilight. Like don't get me wrong. I'm sure the Twilight books are really good. Or I don't know. That when I was growing up, everyone hated them. Or like everyone besides like the people who actually read them hated them. So it's like I don't know. But yeah, I can. I mean, even then, like even without that statement, I'd still pick the nice person to settle with.
Yeah. I yeah. I mean, they're both great choices. Honestly, it's hard to choose between both. Uh, I would choose um, I would choose your choice. I would also choose my choice. It's just which one I like more. Which one both of
Yeah.
us like more. Um, Let us know what you guys would choose in the comments. And before we end off, I would like to leave you guys with a question.
Oh, that's good.
Would you rather? And it's would you rather wake up each morning to find a random animal appendage? So it's like arm,
Yeah.
leg, limb, that stuff has replaced your non-dominant arm. So that's every time
Okay.
you wake up, your left arm, like it would be your righty,
Yeah.
right? So our left arms would be something different every morning, or permanently replace your bottom half with an animal bottom of your choice, not human,
I,
obviously. So let us know what you guys think in the comments. Let us know what you would choose. Would you rather wake up with a random arm every morning, or permanently replace your bottom half?
wait. So is the arm like an actual animal arm or like a random animal appendage? Oh,
Appendage. This is appendage.
okay. I know my answer to that.
So I'm interested what people think.
I know my answer to
Uh,
that.
but yeah,
All right. Well, I'd like one more question for you. I want to ask this other question, but like we don't have time. So yeah, I think that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching this stream of that stream. Thank you so much for this watching for this podcast of Pause Menu Podcast. We are gonna try to have our special 10th episode next week. We'll let you guys know when that follows through, but it's gonna be pretty interesting, I would say. What we're also gonna try to do is we're gonna try to have like
yeah,
You want to dance?
um, a Would You Rather episode, you know, sometime again in the future, maybe the 19th episode. So I guess like every 9 episodes we'll have that in a sense. Um, but yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll
Don't
see
break
you
too quickly
guys
now.
next time. Peace.